Sometimes a recovering alcoholic's brain, even though we've cleared away the fog and got rid of the poison that's flowing through our veins, and sometimes we just think of the craziest things. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sobriety and Silver. I woke up sober this morning because you know it, I went to bed sober last night. And that's another win, another day sober. If you are struggling with any kind of addiction, please get the help you need. Please get the help you deserve. Addiction is not going to mourn for you when you give that final sacrifice. I promise you, it's just going to move on to the next person. All right, let's talk about this recovering alcoholic, recovering drug addict's brain for a minute. 100 tons of gold found in Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire is just cool to say. It's in West Africa along the Atlantic coast. Well, I got thinking. Sounds like a lot. And, it is. It's 100 tons of gold. That's a lot. But honestly, compared to what is mined globally, it's only about 0.17%. So it's great for the Ivory Coast there. That's wonderful for them. It's going to boost their economy. It's going to create jobs. It's going to increase, taxes that are taken in. Their exports. Now, their exports are mostly cocoa, palm oil, and a couple other things. They do export precious metals, but it's only about... It's gone up. It went from 48, 15%, from like 12% to 15% in 2024. So while most of their exports are in cocoa and things like that, they do have the precious metals. But 100 tons of gold, finding that in a mine got my mind thinking. At first I was thinking, well, hey, maybe this will cause the price of gold to pull back a little bit, and can kind of help us small budget stackers, who can't afford the big 1 ounce gold coins or the bars. We do the fractional gold, or at least I do. Please don't take any of this as financial advice. Anything that I do, that my personal way of stacking, is just that. It is my personal way of stacking. I am not recommending it, encouraging anybody to do it. Do your research and do it the best way you see fit. But like I said, really it's not going to change anything. That 0.17% of the world supply of gold isn't going to make a difference. It's not going to cause a pullback on its own. If there is a pullback, that may contribute a little bit, but you got to remember, if you're a small-time stacker and if you're just getting into it, keep this in mind. The first gold to come out of the ground is probably not going to come out till about 2028. It takes a couple years to get all that going, and then they're not going to mine the whole 100 tons in 1 year. I think they're looking at maybe $500 million worth annually, which is, that's pretty good for Côte d'Ivoire. But then my brain got thinking, well, what is their relationship to us? So I looked it up, and while they're not allies, they're not like our best friends or anything like that, they don't hate us either. They're neutral. We're their biggest importer of cocoa. So anytime you're eating a candy bar, you're probably eating the cocoa that came from Côte d'Ivoire. That's just fun to say. But anyway, I got thinking, well, what, are they on BRICS radar? Because BRICS is, this year they had Vietnam and, I knew I was going to draw a blank. Vietnam and another country added to the BRICS nation, which brings them up to 14, I think. So they're slowly growing. And I thought, well, with this 100 tons of gold gained the attention of China and Russia and Brazil, BRICS. And while it may not at first, maybe later on, once they do start pulling the gold out of the ground, that may sway them to be a little more interested in Côte d'Ivoire. Now, while they don't have any military power, I think they have 25, 30,000 troops, mostly small arms. So that's not a big deal. Their gross domestic product, their GDP is 78 billion, which sounds like a lot, but you look at, or China's in the trillions, we're in the trillions. So they're small potatoes when it comes to GDP. But then they are the largest cocoa producer. So that's something that we could possibly lose, maybe not lose, but we would have to pay through the nose to get. And it would be more of a psychological win too, for them to say, hey, look, we got yet another country involved in BRICS. And like I said, maybe they're not on the radar right now. But once that gold starts coming out of the ground, gold speaks volumes, man. And 100 tons is nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of gold. You're talking trillions of dollars worth of gold coming out of Côte d'Ivoire. Possibility, something to think about, which ties right into us small budget stackers. I need to just keep stacking, man. Keep stacking my silver, keep stacking my fractional gold, my gold backs. Anything to diversify and to use as a hedge against inflation, because these are things, it's just, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. And even if it does happen, even if Côte d'Ivoire was to go into the BRICS, like I said, military power, obsolete. GDP, very little compared to big countries. But that psychological win of another country joining and taking their 100 tons of gold with them, think about it. I mean, it just seems like right now the dollar is under fire bad. The US dollar is facing so many issues right now. And I'm just going to keep stacking, guys. I'm going to keep buying what gold I can afford, what silver I can afford. I had a little bit better budget this week. I got some stuff coming in. I did not go to the LCS. They were actually closed Saturday. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal was with that. But anyway, it's 2 Saturdays in a row that they were closed. I don't know if that's a new thing for them, or if they just don't have, maybe they just don't have somebody to open on Saturdays. Maybe somebody quit or something. But anyway, that's about all I got. Just something to think about. It's something that my alcoholic brain, just started pondering, and I couldn't let it go. I kept thinking to myself, what if, what if, what if? But you know what? Don't stress too much about the what ifs, and I'm talking to myself right now. Keep stacking, man. Keep fighting inflation. Keep stacking that silver. Keep stacking that gold, whether it's fractional gold, kilo silver, whatever you can get. Silver dimes, quarters, fractional silver, whatever you can get. Whatever I can get is what I'm going to stack. You guys have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed Monday. Start to the week. Here we go. I'll see you in the next video.